Hello, traders. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our special session of the week, Friday, early afternoon here in Europe. And I'm here with Rafi for the Trader versus Analyst session. So we are going to debate fundamentals from this week, for the next week, and try to make sense of that for us traders. So stay tuned. Let us know in the chat you are here. Let us know your comments and questions and thoughts, and we will be happy to address them, to have a conversation with you guys. And of course, welcome, Rafi. Thank you for joining us, or happy to have you. Happy to be here with you in the room.
Thank you,
How are you
Martin.
doing? How is it going?
Yeah, it's really good to be back. And I'm excited to talk about what's been happening this week. So quite a lot of interesting stuff, quite a bit of a weird week, shall we say, in terms of, different things coming into play as far as, stocks are concerned and the dollar. But I'm sure we're going to be covering all of that.
Oh, totally. I have some notes. I noted down some points that I thought are maybe important, right? One of the most recent, because we've been having Bank of Japan, Bank of European Central Bank meeting just yesterday. The outcome was not so great for euro. But then we had also minutes from Bank of Japan, and been having multiple comments from both ECB officials and Federal Reserve FOMC members. It's really hard for me to know where to start with. Looking also at weekly performance of currencies, and it's very bad for Aussie, very bad for QE. Actually, it looks like a risk off. So we are having something that resembles risk off, and we are having multiple topics. Today morning, like I would even say, it felt like many bad news, like appearing very close to each other, very close to one to another, and feels like it struck market sentiment. But I'm extremely curious to hear your take on that. Like, how do you see that risk of, because it's also not that very it's not the cleanest of risk offs, I would say. VIX is going up, gapped up on Wednesday. Wednesday contracts open, so it's a little bit strange already. But okay, it gapped up. It's been gapping up like that in the past. For example, last December. But it's not very volatile. It's moderately volatile. It's just going higher and higher. Stopped at 15.5. So yeah, all of that makes me a little bit intrigued, but hey, if it looks like risk off, quacks like a risk off, then probably it's risk off. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I think it's quite, we can confidently say it's a risk-off day. But you're also right to say, it's not maybe your typical risk-off day, because we do have what's kind of at least what we saw at the start of the week, and it's kind of, maybe in the last couple of weeks when we had that, softish CPI report out of the US, and we had before that we had the softish jobs report, and then just on Monday, although last week we heard from Fed Chair Powell, he spoke again this Monday, where he was maybe slightly more dovish than what we heard from him in the congressional hearings, and pretty much confirmed, and also other Fed speakers also speaking this week, kind of now maybe sort of more openly talking about, not, or at least not being so cautious when talking about rate cuts. Everybody now is saying we're getting close to a rate cut. So that's kind of, I guess, limiting this risk-off mood. But in terms of why we have this risk-off, I guess it's because, politics, right? It's, whenever we have something, come out of the blue, it usually tends to be geopolitical or political. And this time it's about the US presidential elections. And this is a bit of a funny one because I guess if Trump will, I guess looking pretty certain he's going to win another term. Biden his campaign is in trouble. There's a lot of talk that maybe this weekend Biden might announce that he's pulling out of the race, which on the one hand would be good because clearly Biden seems to be struggling because of his age. So if he stays on, even if he were to win a second term, is he going to do a good job when he's, kind of struggling to get his thoughts together or struggling to walk? But the question is, who's going to replace him? And I think that's why the Democrats have been sort of putting off this decision because, Kamala Harris, the vice president, she's not particularly popular. I think not just within the public, but also probably not so much in the Democrats either. So can she really take on Biden? It's a really tough one for the Democrats, but I guess you could say they should have started planning for this way, like a long time ago, not leave it to the last minute. Some talk that Michelle Obama might kind of be someone who might take on as the Democratic candidate, but I don't think she's interested, to be honest. She hasn't really given any indication that she wants to become president. So most likely it's probably going to be Kamala Harris because it's too late to find another person from Democrats, and we don't really have any big names in the Democrats at the moment who could, be a good choice, last minute choice. But this is just one side of the story, or I'm not even sure if this is negative for the markets because although Trump, he said that he wants to raise tariffs by 60% on Chinese imports, and not just Chinese imports. He wants to put 10% tariffs on all imports, so even from imports from U.S. allies, like the Eurozone and the UK. And this could obviously lead to a new round of trade war between U.S. China.
Exactly. That's the word that's in my head, like, bouncing around as you are saying this.
Yeah.
So I just wanted. Okay, so I interrupted you already. So let me just get the full sentence. I was thinking about trade war, but what is extremely interesting about this situation with U.S. elections? I mean, campaign was sleepy. We've been told it's 45-55% chances, or maybe 48 to 52%. Maybe Trump is a tiny slight favorite, but close race. Out of a sudden, it feels like I'm not sure if I'm not sure if even Biden is capable of getting till the end like properly, right? And Democrats may not be sure as well. Out of a sudden, Donald Trump is like, I've seen today morning 70% favorite. I think it was today or yesterday afternoon, 70% favorite. This is like now markets are sort of like when Trump said about Taiwan that he doesn't think US has obligation to defend Taiwan, out of a sudden markets are like, if he's 70% favorite, should we take what he's saying as what he will be doing after November, right? So out of a sudden, Trump may be saying different things, and market kind of get spooked by what he is saying. That risk of sentiment kind of maybe just throwing markets out of balance because of that relation between his being favorite now in the elections and then what he's saying. Tariffs is another thing you said. Trade war. So if he wins, there's a trade war. So, and Democrats don't have too much room, as you said, for another twist. Like for getting on top of this situation, right? Kamala Harris would be like another woman candidating from Democrats because Hillary Clinton has been candidating also in the past. And I mean, that would be very bad if another woman candidate lost elections. That would be crazy also from the like social perspective. Yeah, I mean, go on. I mean, what do you think about that? I just wanted to throw my two pennies.
Yeah, Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Taiwan because I think that was a bit of a surprise. And so, yeah, it just adds a new layer of uncertainty in all this. But the other thing is, of course, it's not just about, Trump's, the fact that, first of all, Trump was formally nominated and accepted, to be the Republicans' candidate. And now, obviously, after both the shooting as well as before that, that terrible debate where Biden made a complete mess of it. So, he's now seen as very likely the next US president. But we also have the Biden administration actually announcing that they're tightening or they're planning to tighten restrictions for semiconductor companies or chip makers. So if that's not, and this doesn't apply to just US companies, so any chip maker around the world, particularly, there's the Taiwan Semiconductor Company, which is one of the biggest chip makers in the world, and then there's I think a Dutch one as well. That's kind of global player as well in the industry. So the US is now saying if any of these chip makers that use that have any kind of US technology in that, as a component, then they are not allowed to sell to China. So this has hurt the share prices of these companies. And the tech sector, of course, was already under pressure at the start of the week because what we saw from the Trump incident, this Trump trade, shall we call it, where, for example, we saw energy companies doing well, green energy companies not doing so well. And then we're seeing this rotation out of tech companies to small caps in the US. So it kind of added to all that, which kind of started early in the week. So it's a bit of a, it's all a bit of a mess, to be honest. But basically, markets have now something to worry about. If Trump wins, there's going to be increased trade tensions, there's going to be geopolitical uncertainty. And even if a Democrat were to win, again, we're going to have some kind of renewed tensions between the US and China. And what would that mean for the tech sector? So it hasn't been a very good month for tech companies. But we've got earnings coming up. We had Netflix yesterday, which were pretty decent, in fact. So it came after the market closed. So let's see how, whether or not that's going to be able to boost the Wall Street a little bit today. And then next Tuesday, we've got Alphabet, parent company of Google, and I think Tesla as well reporting. So you never know. I mean, this could just be a blip potentially. But let's see what's going to happen. But I don't know what you make of all this. Do you think this is like, just headlines, a bit of drama? Do you think it's all going to kind of go away? Or do you think this is like, we should be worried of something we should be worried about?
I mean, this is, I think I remember actually, I remember Donald Trump's presidency, and he was like tweeting out of the blue, like all sorts of stuff, and market was reacting to that quite nervously. So maybe those times are coming back. The comment about Taiwan is very strange because it's like it's undermining the trust that Taiwan has in US when relying on their independence, on their defenses, and also like other US allies. Like there was this problem also with approach to allies. In the previous presidency, Trump was saying like if somebody is not spending enough on defenses, like they shouldn't count on US defending them, right? So it was already like, oh my God, like that's like dismantling the trust among allies, the trust in the US. So it's, and then like US tech companies are relying also on Taiwanese technology. So if they give it to China, I mean, out of a sudden situation will flip. Like how US gonna be getting those most advanced chips coming from Taiwan, if now they don't export it. They restrict exports of most advanced chips to China, right? How they gonna get them if China gets Taiwan? So very, very, I would say even reckless comments. But what is important? It's not like comments from some guy, but is from a presidential candidate who is expected to win, probably to win.